let's talk about Hawaii. Hawaii is not being talked about for quite some time. There's a lot of stuff going on in Hawaii, and we said this 100 days after the fire. We went out to Hawaii. That was the second time we were out there. Me and the camera guy. The first time was 30 days after the fire. But 100 days after the fire was very interesting because the number one issue we could see this coming down the pipeline, and when we got there, it was very true that housing is your number one issue out there. There's still a lot of people who are, talking about the disaster itself and the fact that there's no transparency on the fire, and there was no transparency right now with everything going on. Even the governor and the mayor touting that local businesses would be the majority of the subcontractors used for the cleanup and the restoration. And right now, the Army Corps of Engineers has contracted out another company from the mainland that's based out of San Francisco, and they're refusing to show their books. So they've spotted a couple subcontractors out there doing some work with some trucks and whatnot, but they don't know across the board who is actually getting those contracts. Now, that's something for a different day. Housing, right? Housing is another problem. This is just crazy. Listen to my boy Alfie. He was in the first movie, Lahaina on Fire. Take a listen. Check it out right over here. Jamie? You got it? All right, here we go. Go full screen.
Anyone who's being asked to vacate their rental. These are Maui residents who were not affected by the fire, didn't lose their home, but are now being asked to vacate their rental so that the landlord can rent it out to a fire survivor, thereby making a ton more money. The agencies that are paying for these services will not work with those landlords. Okay? And if you do suspect this is happening to you or someone you know, you have some resources to utilize. There's three main agencies that are paying for fire survivors to live. That's FEMA, CNHA, and GEM. Okay, if you suspect this is happening, you can reach out to CNHA at Kako'o Maui at hawaiiancouncil.org. That's Kako'o Maui at hawaiiancouncil.org. This will be in the description down below. And you can reach out to a GEM when the contact there is Danielle at globalempowermentmission.org. Danielle at globalmissionempowerment.org. And then for FEMA, they do not have a direct email to reach out to, but if you know anyone on the Maui long-term recovery group committees, you can reach out to anyone there, and then they'll reach out to FEMA for you. If you don't know anyone on the long-term recovery group, you can reach out to me, and then I can help you. If you have any complaints regarding rentals in this same sort of vein, you can reach out to the Hawaii Attorney General's office. That's Hawaii AG at hawaii.gov. That's Hawaii AG at hawaii.gov. Please share this message with anyone that you think might benefit from it. We don't want to see good Maui families having to move off island just to move in a fire survivor. That's not helping. That's actually creating another problem, and we want to avoid that. All right.
So that's exactly what he said. It is creating another problem there, right? This whole situation in Maui, and you knew the greed would come into play, right? The landlords are going to be there at the end of the day, and they're going to be with some of the greediest, right? So they're getting extra money for their rentals if they can move somebody out and move a fire survivor in there, because the state is now going to guarantee their rent at a higher rate. This is not just we're not talking about the small the small term rentals. We're talking about long term rentals. They're actually kicking people out of their housing and moving these other people, and so they're just creating a whole nother problem, as we speak. It's just allowing the landlord who has a long-term rental to throw somebody out and get a fire survivor in there and get a lot more money. And it's just crazy that they're doing this. And they're trying to report this and keep this under control. But, once again, there's going to be debates and arguments there. Oh, this guy wasn't paying his rent all the time. It's been late. Look how many times he's got marked up. He's making noise at night. It's just out of control. I have every right to throw him out. So it's going to be an interesting battle over there, but that's the new problem that's going on right now in Maui. Every time we open our eyes, there's something new that's going on there, and there's no transparency across the board. That is the issue. Take a look at this other video I put up from Alfie. Alfie was in the first video, Lahaina on Fire. Housing is the problem, ladies and gentlemen. So we have to talk about this and keep reporting on it. Take a look at this next video.
a month to $100 a month to now paying $9,300 a month for a 4-bedroom. That's what's happening out here. Prior to the fire, my family and I were a family of 7. We have 5 kids, and then myself and my wife, and we were renting a 4-bedroom in Lahaina, right across the street from the ocean, right on Front Street, and it was $4,500. Now, after the fire, of course, we lost a bunch of homes. Housing is really scarce. When supply goes down, demand goes up along with prices, which brings us to our current state of things, which is $9,300 a month. So we left the hotel in October because we wanted so badly to have a home so we can start rebuilding and start healing. So we decided to leave the hotels because we found a house to rent. Unfortunately, that house was $9,300. It was actually $9,500, and then we negotiated to $9,375. Just to be completely accurate, we paid $9,375 for a 4-bedroom in Kaanapali. It's a beautiful house. It's wonderful, but of course we can't afford $9,300. We lost all of our businesses in the fire. All of our forms of income were lost. Now, in October, the FEMA programs, they have significantly gone up in the amount of assistance that they're able to give to a fire survivor. So we left early, and at the time, we were in the rental assistance program. That's all they had at the time, right, for helping people with housing. And that rental assistance program we qualified for like $2,500 a month, and we were responsible to figure out the rest. And it was really difficult, and I'll tell you how we did it, right? Every family's gonna have a different story. We did it we had insurance on a boat that came in, and of course I wouldn't have wanted to use all the insurance on the rental, but we had to, right? This is what you got to do. I had someone who owed me a pretty good chunk of money, and he sold his house and finally was able to pay me, which was really, really fortunate. All that went to rent. Now this is the message that I need to share, and you got to pay attention here, and you got to share it with others so this doesn't happen to you. I have been working every single job and figuring out every single financial assistance that we qualify for to make up that rent. Okay. And so Catholic Charities was issuing fire survivor families up to $4,500 for a one-time shot. That's all you can qualify for. That's all they were given. So we took it. We just it was such a stress reliever to be like, oh my gosh, this is great. All we got to do is come up with half the rent this month. Great. And so with the FEMA rental assistance program, the way it works is you have to send in a bunch of paperwork to show that you qualify. You continually to qualify. If you found a job, you got to report that. If for some reason you got to report that. But what I didn't know is if you accept assistance from another organization, it will disqualify you from the FEMA rental assistance program. And that's what happened to us. We got kicked out of the FEMA rental assistance program. And I'm so grateful for what FEMA has done. I don't hate on FEMA, even though this might sound like I don't. They're helping a ton of families, and it's been great. But I wouldn't have taken any other assistance. I just thought of one time, I did not know. Maybe that's my fault for not knowing, for not looking into it. But how else are we going to make $9,300 a month? Right? We got to be creative, and we got to.
So, I mean, this just leads to the bigger problem. I know Alfie's being really nice over here, and he's been really, happy that FEMA's been around, and some of the distribution centers at Ellie Cochran's distribution center that he was a big part of help setting up. FEMA actually had a table over there. It was actually being able to cut some of the fat and helping some people out. Same thing with the Red Cross. He was able to discover areas where you can go get direct money and cash from Red Cross or help from FEMA. However, the overall job that FEMA and Red Cross have done has been the pits, right? So Alfie's being very politically correct over here and, nice because that's the type of guy he is. But the fact is that a lot of people don't understand or know these programs properly. And, there's somebody who's just making a decision over there who are deciding to say, hey, you took money from somewhere else. You can't get FEMA money. That's a tragedy. That is sad. The Lahaina housing situation is really bad, ladies and gentlemen. They're jacking up rents. They're throwing other people out to get fire survivors in because they can get guaranteed money from the state at a higher rate. This is just begun, this problem. We're only in the second inning in Lahaina, and we're going to continue to report on it. YouTube still plays those crazy games where they like to unsubscribe people for whatever reason. I don't know if it's part of an algorithm or whatnot, but make sure you're subscribed and make sure you hit that bell and like, share, subscribe to the show. We're going to have this whole show clipped up. We're going to do it the same way we've been doing it on the Combo Couch for many years. We do a whole show, a live show, and then we have certain segments. We're going to repost the segments out there so you can share the shorter versions of the subjects that you like or that you want to share. And that's the most important thing you can do. A lot of us don't have any coin to spare, but we can share, right? That rhymed. We don't have any coin to spare, but we can share. So do me a favor and share.